Today, we're going to make really weird faces at each other for the sake of your sleep. We're talking about myofunctional therapy for sleep apnea and how you can tie it all together neatly in a little 5-minute protocol and being able to set yourself up, well, particularly your airway muscles in your mouth and the back of your throat, so that you're able to be in a much better position where you're breathing and thus sleeping better. So if you're someone who snores, you have sleep apnea, or you even suspect it, then make sure to check out this video and stick around for when we're going over the routine. We're going to go over some major highlights, keep this one really short today. We're going to talk about a few quick things of what the heck is myofunctional therapy, what the research says on the results, and of course, what are we going to be doing about that and being able to give you a nice, quick, easy, sub 5-minute routine. So, what the heck is myofunctional therapy? You can think of it like physical therapy, but for this whole area, your whole face, inside of your mouth, back of your throat. It has a lot of different traditional uses. For instance, orthodontists may use it for kids or adults who have different deformations in their teeth or their face, or there's even myofunctional therapy for little itty bitty babies who may have tongue ties or who may have issues with breastfeeding. So there's a wide range of myofunctional therapy. It's a bigger field. Basically, just think of it as physical therapy from your lips to the back of your throat, including also facial muscles as well. So a subset of that is going to be relevant for sleep apnea. Because as I talked about in previous episodes, if I zoom way out here, there's a lot of different involvement of the muscles in obstructive sleep apnea. Specifically, when we're talking about all of these, you may have an issue with the soft palate, the tongue, the lips, back here in the back of the throat. There's going to be a lot of different aspects of that we've been covering. And essentially, when these muscles are loose or in the wrong position, they are that much more likely to fall back because of gravity into the back of the airway at night. So that's why being able to train them with myofunctional therapy is important. Now, the biggest difference, if you've seen my episodes on tongue exercises and other sorts of things where we're making weird faces and going like this, or we're trying to replicate what a didgeridoo does, you may be wondering, well, how the heck is this different? Myofunctional therapy, it's in the name, it's functional. So it's more movement. So with some of the tongue exercises, those have been more static. You hold your tongue like this or that, or so on and so forth. Myofunctional is specifically the movement patterns, of how you're using all these different muscles, how you're swallowing, what position your tongue is when you're swallowing, right? Or how you're able to move your cheeks and all these different aspects. So there's a lot more movement involved with it. So it's different than the static or isometric exercises that I've talked about in other videos. Nonetheless, it's a different angle because sometimes just doing those static isometric exercises is not going to be sufficient by itself to be able to make those changes. So that's why when we're looking at the differences between myofunctional therapy and the other things I've talked about, myofunctional therapy as opposed to just didgeridoo training, tongue exercises, or other aspects, it's going to be more holistic, it's going to be more comprehensive. Now, as I mentioned already, it's going to be more functional, which is important because sleep is not a very static thing. You are moving around, so the ability for your body to unconsciously move into a good position is super, super important. And also, how you're moving during the day, like how you move and at your desk and the computer, that's also going to affect your posture, which is something that's super important at night because when you have better posture in your tongue, all those different muscles, that's going to help. Probably one of the biggest things about myofunctional therapy is how personalized it can be. Because if we talked about with the tongue exercises, yes, there's a degree of personalization, but it's just the tongue. Myofunctional therapy is all these different things. Very broad. That's why I narrowed down a nice efficient routine of what I think have been the most helpful exercises. So that all sounds great, but just like anything in alternative health, does it actually work? So, gold standard research meta-analysis 2024. It is recent, and this is looking at myofunctional therapy for obstructive sleep apnea, looking at a whole lot of data. The point is, this is something to hang your hat on. And they looked at a lot of different outcomes. I've summarized it in this table. They had 7 randomized clinical controlled trials, and they found some good results. Improvement in AHI, that's sleep apnea severity, decreased by about 10 points, about 30% improvement for people. That's enough to go from moderate to mild, or even severe to moderate, and also mild to no sleep apnea. Sleepiness decreased by 5.6 points or 40% improvement. Sleep related quality of life, 20% improvement. And then oxygen saturation increased and improved as well, which is what we would think if sleep apnea severity is decreasing. So that's great. That is fantastic. It may not take you from, say, 50 down to 0, but the thing is, it's never going to be one thing. I know it's a very attractive idea that one thing is going to magically just bust open sleep apnea, it's going to be gone forever. That can be true. Some people do these exercises and they're just like, I'm good. Now, that's the minority of people. The majority of people need multiple modalities. You may need some myofunctional therapy, and you may need to work a little bit more on your tongue. You may need to work on a didgeridoo a little bit, or maybe breathing exercises, which is going to be a future episode. It's going to be super important for you. Nonetheless, I want to be able to give you a start with myofunctional therapy, and that's what we're going to go over next. I'm going to explain these exercises here. And if you want more insights and action steps, I would encourage you to go ahead and click subscribe so that as we're updating more exercises onto the channel and talking about other aspects as well, holistic health, whether it's nutrition, your environment, all these different aspects, that you don't miss a beat. So make sure you hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you're always up to date and be able to accelerate your healing journey. Now let's get into the nice and easy, this is probably everyone's favorite part of this routine, relatively quick. There's going to be 5 exercises in here that I believe across the board are some of the most helpful out of the whole myofunctional toolkit. First up are tongue push-ups as demonstrated here. And what this is you start with your tongue, wherever it may be right now, and you're just going to push it up to the roof of your mouth. You're going to push it up and hold it for 5. Mm, mm, and then release. And then do it again. Mm, 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 mm. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go ahead and just press up against the roof of your mouth, and that'll be your tongue push-up. You do that for 1 set, 10 reps, 5 seconds per set. Next is the soft palate lift. Now, most people, this is going to feel funky unless you're a singer and know how to magically lift your palate, or maybe you're a natural. But how you want to do this, think about fogging a mirror, whether it's in your bathroom or the side view mirror in a car. That's my favorite way and best way I found to help people do this for themselves. You open your mouth, and that when you do the fogging part, pay attention to feeling a tension in the back roof of your mouth. A tension develop like a pulling up. That's your soft palate lifting. I know I look like I was a cat throwing up a hairball for a moment there, but nonetheless, that's how you lift your palate, and you would do that for 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another way to activate this, what you can say or make a sound of is sing, like the NG part. You do that, that will help lift the palate as well. So, really annoying, sounds great, but effective in lifting your palate. All right. That is the palate lift. Again, 1 set, 10 reps, 5 seconds. Tongue slide back. You're going to start with the tip of your tongue just behind those front teeth, and then slide it back. Start up front, slide it back. All right, pretty simple. Do that. Get it as far back as you can. You may feel a little cramp with that one. Number 4 are cheek puffs. As the name maybe doesn't imply, but you're just doing this. And there's actually some side to side action. So I'll show you what 1 rep is. So you start with 1 cheek, and then you're going to move it through, think of moving it through the front of your lips here to the other side. Don't think about moving it inside your teeth like this. You really want to try to get that air coming through the lips. You shouldn't let out any air. Going from, this is 1 rep, by the way. So there and back, just like a swimming pool, there and back is 1 rep. All right, and that should take you about 5 seconds per rep. Well, not even, so pretty easy. And then the last one is a neck stretch with tongue resistance. So this one takes a little bit more explanation. I'm zooming in on this one because you're going to get into a similar position. So bring the tip up, just behind, and press the middle. And what you're going to do is hold this position. You're going to hold this position. And then what you're going to do, that's 1 rep. You're going to hold that position in your tongue and then go up and down. Okay? You don't need to do this weird head movement here. Okay? I was just trying to see why my head looks so sideways. I think it's the camera angle. So just stick it to the roof of your mouth and up and down slowly. And that's it. That is the routine there. Do that once, maybe twice per day, and that's going to help start to retrain those muscles easily. And like I was saying before, it's very multifactorial of all the different things going on. And I've covered a lot of these muscle exercises, which are going to be a good part of the equation. And one of the things that's the most helpful for people, which was incredibly helpful for me, is the breathing exercises. Because what happens during sleep apnea is you have a fast inhale that pulls down loose muscles. And then as a result, then you block your airway. This fast inhale pulls muscles into the back of the throat, blocks off the airway. Tightening up your muscles is just one part of this. And it also takes time. So if you can also remove this trigger, which is very important, then what happens is that your airway is more likely to stay open. You have a slower inhale. So even if your muscles aren't as toned or strong as they should be yet, all of that does not get pulled into the back of the airway, so your airway stays open. And that's something we're going to cover next in our next episode, breathing exercises for sleep apnea, the most effective and powerful, because I value your time. And whenever that episode is available, just click here. It might be over my face. If it is not, make sure you click subscribe so that you don't miss out. And lastly, I know we've been going over a lot of information with exercises, and if you add it all up, it will be a lot of stuff. Because the truth is, there's a lot of stuff to do. But all of that may not be the most important for you because you need to be able to tailor things to your unique needs. And to be able to do that at a level where you're overcoming sleep apnea once and for all as quickly as possible, that requires us to really dig into your individual issues. And that's what we do on the free evaluation call. If that's what you want, go to ochnow.com/talk. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you soon or talk to you soon.